can look at that, though that tends to be more contractual optimization, not efficiency of our operations. Efficiency and operational efficiency, what we're looking at here is utilization rate of your techs. How many hours a day are they making your company money versus how many hours a day are they twiddling their thumbs, right? So looking specifically at the utilization rate of our techs rather than our uh, 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 contractual block hours per se, right? A little bit different of a function there. So industry averages for utilization isn't going to be something that we're going to see quite here. And we'll talk about that. So keep that idea in mind. I think your line of questioning is quite proper here. So utilization rate's going to hit on the most expensive thing inside our orgs. Okay. I I don't care if you are the smallest MSP in the world or the largest MSP in the world. Labor is your most expensive item. Point blank. Okay. We look at MSPs that have thousands of machines inside N-able services, right? One of our largest being 25,000 devices across our feature set. Okay. And they are using the bulk of it. Backup, N Central, Take Control. They're going in for Mail Assure, right? They have embedded themselves in our feature suite. They still pay us under 55K a month. They have a 20 technician staff, just technicians. That does not get into their sales org. That does not get into their finance department. That does not get to their C-suite. Okay. There's no way, shape, and or form that their labor for an organization that size does not far exceed their software costs. Software probably comes in second, though. So when we talk about operational efficiency, that first line item has got to be addressed. And where we address it's going to be utilization rate. And utilization rate, we need to take these numbers here with a grain of salt. If you are a two-man shop with a business owner and a tech, that tech's utilization rate is going to be off the charts. 100%. Okay? Because there's nothing else you can do there. When that tech is on the clock, they have to be working. Right? It takes a special type of person to do that. It takes a special type of tech to do that. When we get to larger MSPs, we see a little bit closer to the numbers we see here, where we can establish a direct relationship between utilization rates and profitability. If our utilization rate is a 60% average, 3 to 5% EBITDA is pretty much what we're going to see. 80% average or up, we see 10 plus EBITDA. Now, the reason we can't see, say, national averages based on this not only hits on the amount of technicians that we have in our business size, right? But it also fits into different management styles. It fits into different pay styles. It fits into different cultures, right? Now, when I think about this, looking at how we are going to measure this, we're going to look at our reactive and managed rates, right? Hours billed over hours worked. Hours billed plus hours managed over hours worked. Okay, and pull those two numbers and apply them appropriately. Okay, managed coming in your fully managed and whatnot type programs. Okay, and reactive hours being, for lack of a better term, your billable hours. Now, my theory on this and my idea with this is I am a big proponent of employee health, right? Both physical and mental. Okay. And we start with our employee health being our number one driver for profitability and client satisfaction. The happier Johnny Tech is at work, there is a direct correlation to that and the happier he is providing customer service. Okay. My example for this is I used to work at Men's Warehouse. I know it's outside of the MSP space, but I got to see two eras at Men's Warehouse as a manager. Okay. I got to see the George Zimmer era. You know, the guy from the commercials with the beard. You're going to like the way you look, right? This man's sole goal in life was to own a suit organization or business and to, inside the retail world, make happy retail workers. This went to benefits. Now, look, okay, he got to offer benefits because he was huge, okay, that are far above a national standard. But when we talk about this, keep this in mind. He was $1 billion company, privately owned. Okay. He had a guarantee when I joined that company. He had a education track that if you spent your entire career with Men's Warehouse, the whole 20 to 30 years, depending on where you started in the company, his guarantee would you would walk out a millionaire. Invest in the company, invest in these particular 401k programs. Look at putting your money into these particular benefits. My first week at the company, I went through the training. I called BS. I then got to watch my first regional manager retire from Men's Warehouse after starting at the bottom, putting in 25 years, and retired worth $5 million. I bought into that program. Okay. We had good benefits. We had a great work environment. A lot was put into making us happy. And I got to see less customer complaints. I got to see amazing sales numbers. Okay. I got to see very, very high customer satisfaction, even with displeased customers, because I had a management and a salesperson and an associate team that were happy to be at work. You come in with a problem, we solve that problem, and we're happy to do so. To the point that using the stereotype word of Karen in a retail environment, for the first 4 years at Men's Warehouse, I saw none. You come in complaining, you walked out with a smile within 5 minutes. It was an amazing thing to see. Then we went public. And while we went public in a method that was good for our shareholders, we saw a lot of things clawed back at the employee level. That millionaire guarantee, gone. Our 401k matching dropped down to 5%. Our invest in the business options shattered. And I still spent 3 more years there. Okay, because I cared about the employees that I was working with at the store level. But a huge shift happened. Okay, it started with our holiday party was taken away. Doesn't sound like anything big, but George Zimmer, for all of his faults and for all of his positives, man, did he know how to throw a holiday party. It was disheartening, right? 3 months later, we started to see benefits hit. Less than 6 months after that, so 9 months after this transition to public, and we see employee happiness hit the back burner, I had employees screaming on an almost daily basis, right? Despite my best efforts as a manager and despite some of my top performers' best efforts, right? You're unhappy at work. I got to watch thousands of dollars get taken out of my pocket in 9 months. I was unhappy. My customer service dipped. Right. I had salespeople who never were disappointed to come to work before that shift start telling me, man, I've got to leave because I wake up dreading coming in. Right. That affected our overall store numbers across the board, Men's Warehouse saw 10 to 25% drops in sales volume just because employees weren't happy, right? So when we look at this utilization rate, we need to keep this in mind, right? Let's start with the expectations of if you have folks that are working 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, that means you're going to get 8 hours out of them. Tack off 30 minutes off the bat, 7.5. You got to have restroom breaks. They're not signing out for those. You're going to have small emergencies pop up, right? Then let's add some additional time to this. Every one of us on this call, from business owner to technician, to finance department to sales department, has gotten off the phone or out of a meeting with an end user that was just rough. You had an end user who calls you almost every day because they cannot plug their computer in for some strange reason and their computer never turns on. Today was the last straw for that end user. It was the 8th time in 8 days they've called and they just lit into your tech. Your tech's going to need a couple minutes after that, right? That's a rough conversation, right? That's a rough thing to be put into. So when we look at our 8-hour day, right, and we look at our expectations with best in class-ish, best EBITDA numbers being 80%, that means we get about 6.5 hours worth of utilization on that person per day. I'd like to see it a little bit higher than that, okay? I think it's reasonable to ask it to be a little bit higher than that. But 6.5 hours on an 8-hour day. Okay? Just something to focus on. Right, utilization rate is a good metric, but let's temper our expectations. Let's let our employees be as happy as possible. Now, I'm not telling you if they're at the office for 8 hours and they only work 4 to accept that. That is not acceptable. Okay, that is not right. Okay, let's keep that 80%, which in an 8-hour day is 6.4 hours.